Hello ladies and everyone, I'm Robin Caldwell, this is Sapphire Scrump Sassafras Saffrison, and welcome to Ribbon Cobweb,
where we do whatever we want. Yes, we do.
So longtime viewers of the channel may have noticed that I've been taking a bit of a break, and that is because back in August, my mother died, and then later in August, my grandma died. So I'm in kind of a rough place emotionally. So yeah, I took a break, but I'm back at it. I'm hoping I'll be able to go back to my old schedule of 2 videos a month. Maybe it'll be more like 1 video a month. Be patient with me. That being said, my mom is still gonna pop up in videos from time to time because I have a lot of old footage. For example, my Halloween video that's coming up later this month was filmed last Halloween, and so my mom makes a little cameo in there. She liked being a part of my channel in her own little way, so you might see her or hear from her here and there. So yeah, rest in peace to Alice Caldwell. She lived a really good life, and I'm really grateful to be her daughter. So one of the things that I got when my mother died was her collection of blank notebooks. My mom was a journaler. She taught me how to journal when I was a kid, and I've been keeping notebooks since I was about 8 years old. For me, my bag is not packed until there is a notebook in it, and so I decided I wanted to keep all of her blank notebooks and use them. That being said, some of them weren't exactly to my taste, or maybe there were duplicates of some of them, so I've decoupaged 4 notebooks. For the uninitiated, decoupage is kind of the child of collage and paper mache. I've got this notebook here that was made out of a paper bag and some of my mom's old stickers, which I think is really cool. For this one I used an Archie comic, so we've got Betty Cooper on the front, Josie and the Pussycats on the back, and these ones were kind of an experiment. For these I used actual photographs that my dad took, which I have not done. I haven't really done decoupage with photographs before, so that was a interesting new experience. This one is space themed. We've got a little the moon behind the trees, we got some stars, we've got some woods, we've got an eclipse, some more stars, some more woods, and then this one is plane themed. These are a bunch of photos that my dad took at an air show. This was like a fun little way to kind of memorialize my mom and my father. My father's been dead for about 20 years now. I'm an adult orphan. Sorry. Is that too dark? So let me show you how I did it. So the first thing you need is something to decoupage. I would actually really recommend a notebook if you're new to decoupage, especially like a spiral bound one like I've got here. This is the first notebook that I ever decoupaged. It's really easy to do a spiral bound notebook because it lies flat, so you can kind of do like both sides at once, and you don't need to worry about wrapping everything around the spine like I did with these ones. You can also just like decoupage just the front and back and just neglect the spine. The next thing you need is items to put on the thing you're decoupaging. Pattern paper, comic book pages, graphic novel pages, magazine pages, stuff that you drew, whatever you want. This is the part where you get to be creative. You can put whatever you want on whatever you want. Isn't that fun? You can also like bedazzle and stuff with decoupage, like you can put little items on stuff, but if you're a beginner, I would recommend paper or cardstock. The next thing you need is decoupage sealer, and this is basically the glue that holds everything together. For our purposes today, I have used Mod Podge, which is kind of the number one. I'm sure there are some other ones out there, but Mod Podge is probably the easiest one to find. It's at basically every craft store. It's at some dollar stores. It's really easy to track down. The next thing you need is brushes. You don't need this many. Basically like anything just flat and wide will do the trick. And the last thing that you might need is acrylic sealer. This is basically the top coat for when you're done. This one might be optional depending on the sealer that you use. In my experience, Mod Podge stays tacky even after it's cured. It stays kind of gummy. So this really just removes that and gives it a nice finish so that it doesn't get stuck to anything. I would also recommend having some kind of like placemat or something to cover the table where you're working, just because like Mod Podge can stick around on surfaces. That's kind of the point. Okay, I think I've covered everything. Let's get started. So for this one, I found this lovely, I think it was holding like a ring box or something in my mom's jewelry box. It was this gorgeous paper bag. I just love the colors from it. I like the like wrinkle texture. I think that's cute. And then also inside of her jewelry box for some reason were these stickers, and my mom always really loved butterflies. And so this one I want to kind of dedicate to my mom by using some of her old things to make it. So basically your first step is to just kind of like lay everything on and see how you want it to be. This one to start with is pretty simple because it's just, we're just taking one big thing and wrapping it around our notebook. So what you want to do is move one side at a time. So we're going to start with the front. Okay, cute. So now I've got this lying pretty flat. I'm now going to coat this in a layer of Mod Podge. Got my paintbrush and I've got my little paint tray. Yes, it's very well loved. And to start, we're just going to paint a layer of our sealer and just really cover it up, especially the edges. And of course, if you're doing this on a notebook like I am, you want to stay clear of the actual pages of the notebook and try not to get any glue in there, because obviously it will glue the pages shut and nobody wants that. So now we've got our first layer on. So we're just going to fold this back over and really lie it as flat as we can. And once that is pressed on, we are now going to do another layer of sealant on the outside. And again, make sure that you're getting it all around the edges, because that's the most important part, because that'll prevent any lifting later. Okay, so that is our first coat done. Okay, so now I'm gonna move on to the pink notebook. I'm gonna be using this old Betty and Veronica comic. There's some really cute imagery in here. Of course, that's classic right there. I like these ones of Betty painting. And then also this one where she's like painting in a gown. That's so camp. I love it. I really like this like punk Josie and the Pussycats strip. That's really fun. I actually remember this one from when I was a kid. I remember loving this panel of Melody hanging upside down just to do her hair. So definitely using that. Okay, so now we've got our selections. Also, I love the implication of these panels. Of course, it might only be a girl, but come to think of it, that's even more of a reason to get dressed. How come, Betty? Actually, I think I just found something. I think I'm gonna cut out this and put it over here. And okay, you'll see. I have a vision. Overlay this. Of course, it might only be a girl. But come to think of it, that's even more reason to get dressed. And then I'm going to cut out this last panel. And now I've changed the meaning of the comic. Okay, so now I've got it all laid out how I want it. This, because it has this, and this on top of it, this needs to be the first thing that I glue down. So I'm going to clear off everything else, being very careful not to move this because I know exactly where I want it. And I'm just going to lift up the corners and paint underneath so that it doesn't move. Now that I've got that glued down and as flat as I can get it, I'm going to do another layer over top. And then there's this little kind of rut, I don't know, divot, whatever. I'm going to take extra care to really push the image kind of into that divot so it lies flush against it. Once again, now that I've got it as flat as I can get it, I'm going to paint on another layer of sealer. Next, I'm going to do this panel. So I'm going to, once again, paint underneath where I want it. And then, yeah, just pressing it down. And then because we've got it like right on the edge of the notebook here, I'm just going to try to push that down as much as I can so it'll lie flat. A little bit of Mod Podge on my finger and I'm just pressing it down. And then once again, painting a layer on top. I'm just really going over that one corner to make sure that it doesn't pop up later. And then I'm going to put the little thought bubble. This piece is really small. I'm doing a really light touch to make sure that I don't accidentally move it. And then I'm just going to, because I'm doing the titles next, I'm just going to paint the whole rest of this guy. Now I've got my little titles on, so I'm just going to seal those in. So for this one, I want to do like a space themed one. So what I'm thinking is we've got these like gorgeous, weirdly lit photos of the road. And so I was thinking it could be fun to do like this on the bottom and then kind of cut around the trees a little bit and put some more kind of spacey wacy stuff up behind the trees. And this is going to be kind of an experiment. I haven't actually done decoupage with like proper like photo print paper, so this should be fun. Okay, so I cut out the trees and they turned out with this really cool like spiked effect. I really like this. And then I put the shot of the moon behind the trees right here, and then the green whatever it is right there. The step is this right here because it's the bottom layer. And I'm doing like a really thick coat just because the this surface here is textured, because that'll actually help with the curing process later if there's a nice thick coat underneath. And really pushing that all down. And obviously like I'll fold over these outer parts after the fact, like once this is dried, but for right now I'm just leaving them. And painting over this layer. Decoupage, as you can see here, is it's a real trust the process kind of craft sometimes. And last but not least, something like that. So I'm paying very close attention to these spiked edges here because these could definitely lift later if I don't. I'm going like in the opposite direction because I don't know if you can see it, but the glue kind of pools up. Like if I go this way, they just kind of lie flat, but if I go this way, the glue kind of pools in the edges. I don't know if you can see that on camera. You can kind of see there's that kind of white line around them. That's the glue. I want that to be there while it's curing. That's a really important step. Yeah, this is phase one of this notebook. And then for this one, I've got a bunch of these photos of planes that my dad took. He was really into planes. Planes always remind me of him now. Okay, so first, this is the top. So the first piece is just this little square, this little background square moment. Okay, so this one is ready to go on the drying table. I almost said drying rack. I don't have a drying rack. I have a drying surface. Okay, so update on the first notebook. It is dry. It's looking good. So now we're going to flip it over and do the other side. And boy, I tell you what, after doing all the others, this one feels like a piece of cake. Just doing one big coat. It's so much easier than all the others, but it's worth it because I love how decoupage looks. One of the reasons that I love doing this is because of the movie Ghost World. There's a scene where Enid is drawing in her notebook at a cafe and her notebook has been decoupaged and it's so cute. And I've loved it ever since. Decoupage notebooks are an artistic necessity for me. They feed my soul and I love them. Also, this time we're sealing the spine of the book as well. So make sure you get in there if you're playing along at home. But also, if you're just here to hang out, hi! Go to the comments and tell me who your favorite Muppet is. Mine's Miss Piggy. So now we're gonna pull this bag over the top, trying to keep it as tight and flat on there as possible. Okay, here we go. That is gonna go back on the drying table. And now it's time to return to Betty. I love how this one turned out. Like the pink background and all of it just makes all of it pop. I just love this. Originally I wanted to be like Betty and Veronica, but I've fallen so in love with the Josie and the Pussycats stills that I think it's gonna be Betty and Josie. So I know I want this, and I know I want the still of Melody getting her hair done. Oh wait, I need to have this one. This sparks joy right here, this panel. I have to include this. Oh my gosh, how atrociously awful. I love it. That's me! Oh, I love that! Melody. The Josie and the Pussycats movie, can we talk about how good Tara Reid was in that movie? Like, she just absolutely, all of the entire cast of that movie was, they look like they're having the time of their lives. They did such a good job. But Tara Reid as Melody was something else. Like, she just truly, no thoughts, head empty, elevator music where a brain should be. Like, she did that. It was such a good performance. I love Melody doing her hair upside down. I love her enjoying how atrociously awful it looks. And I love a themed punk rock ball to end it all. Okay, fabulous. I love that. I love the trees. I love how this turned out. Now, side B. Got the street here. I'm also gonna wrap these ones around the back. These photos are less porous and therefore it's harder to manipulate them. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna focus on the spine. I think I'm just gonna decoupage the spine and just push each of these over and then just kind of tape them all on this side, just for now, just to get that all lying flat. Really getting it in there. And then we're gonna bring it all up and lie it as flat as possible. Tape that. Now it's like pulling the notebook open because of how much it doesn't want to lie flat. Cool, so I will just leave that to dry. I think I'll pick this back up again in a day. Okay, day 2. This one is pretty much done. These ones, however, they all need some work. Oh no, the tape is tearing up the... Are you seeing this? The tape is tearing up the notebook. Well, I'm glad I'm covering this up. That tape did a number on here. That's crazy. I think I'm just gonna pop this on like that. I think I like this little flared moment though. You know what? I think it's time for some fun scissors. And then I know I want the eclipse up in this corner. I think I want to cut a little divot out and kind of put the green down here by these trees. Oh, I like that. Okay. And this can go right here. And now I'll set that aside. Next up is this guy. I am not entirely sure how to wrap this edge around. I wasn't really thinking about that when I did this side. I think my best solution is to just trim it. Okay, so now for this side. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside now too. So the first thing that I'm going to do is for these parts that are where the spine of the book is, I'm just going to cut a little notch, because then that way these can just fold down nice and flat on either side. I'm going to cut one like that and one like that, so that this one can come down in the corner, and then this one can wrap around that one, and then that one can wrap around. Okay, I'm going to start with the corners. And then to wrap the edges, I think I'll do the top and the bottom first because this one's pretty big. This one will kind of cover all the others. So here's how this one's looking. So now I'm just gonna fold everything in. I don't think I've mentioned this so far, but always wash your brush thoroughly after using Mod Podge. I use soap and water and it's still really, really stiff. Listen to this. Kind of work them a little bit before you use the paintbrush again. In particular, these photos, since they don't really want to lie flat, I think if they sit closed in a book while they're drying, I think they'll just get that little bit of extra help staying flat. And now I'm just gonna close that right up. So I'm gonna set this aside, put it under a pile of books to hold it in place. And then I'm gonna do the same thing. Now that I'm decoupaging photos on a surface that curves and bends, I would not recommend doing this. It is not easy to work with. So now I've got all that folded in, so I'm gonna put this under the pile of books too. So while those are busy folding, I'm just going to add the stickers. Oh, they're clear. I love these stickers. I think they're so cute and I think they go really nicely, but the only thing that concerned me was that they had like a white circle around them, but they don't. Oh, they're perfect. I know they're stickers. I'm gonna Mod Podge them on anyway. Oh my gosh, I'm even more excited to see how this turns out now. I'm so stoked about these stickers. And there you have it. I am now the proud owner of these 4 gorgeous decoupage notebooks. I think it looks really cool. I love this like textured, kind of puckering, kind of wrinkled surface. I don't know, it just makes it look so arty-party. I love it. And here's the Archie Comics one. I absolutely love how this one turned out. I think these 2 are my favorite personally. The ones where I used photographs, I'm still really happy with. Like the end result, I think turned out really, really nice. And I'm definitely looking forward to using these. But yeah. Working with like plastic or photographs, I would not recommend this for beginners, but if you want to try it, if you want to experiment with some old photographs, try it out because I really like how these turned out. So yeah, thank you so much for watching and hanging out while I do a silly little craft and playing along at home if you have. But before we go, I'd like to talk about my hat for a second. So at time of recording, there is a lot of sad stuff happening in Palestine right now. If you don't know, the watermelon is a symbol of solidarity with Palestine because it has the colors of the Palestinian flag. So I have started making and selling watermelon hats on my website. 100% of the money that I make selling these hats is going either to the UNRWA or directly to families. If I can just speak as somebody who is grieving right now, I've only lost 2 members of my family and I'm having a hard time. There are people in Gaza who are children who are becoming the last surviving member of their immediate family. And on top of that, they're being unhoused and starved and bombed. And it needs to end. And at time of recording, there has been a ceasefire announced, which is good, but there needs to be more. They need to rebuild. We need to keep helping. If you have the means, please buy a hat or just donate. I have the links listed on my website. Just donate directly if you'd rather. If you don't want a hat and you just want to help, do that too. But do something. Whatever it is. If you yourself watching this have family in Palestine or you are in Palestine and you have some kind of GoFundMe going or any other place to send money, please get in touch. Let me know. I will add it to the list. I want to help any way that I can, and the only way that I can think to help is by making crafts. That's how I deal with grief. That's how I deal with sad things, is I make things. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember that we all have the power to help each other. We all have the power to make new things, and I'll see you around on the web. Peace. I forgot that my webcam does that. Read the room, iMovie, come on.